Here we are with Johnny Rocket, and you are, I mean, you're host of the Morning Spin.
Yeah.
But really, you're host of all things American Idol. That's what I want to dub you as.
Well, can we, every time anybody wants to tell, oh, you guys do this, air quote it.
Air quote it.
Exactly.
All things American Idol.
Idol.
Yeah. Okay, so people see you on TV, they hear you on the radio, but not everybody knows your story and kind of how you got to doing what you're doing. You live in Edmonton.
Correct.
And you married your high school sweetheart.
Right.
Little romantic comedy film.
Yeah, my
right
wife,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, what's her name?
Crystal.
Crystal.
Just in
okay.
case, anybody wants to, you won't see, Google her, you won't see her.
No, she's social media shy?
She doesn't like the Facebook or anything else, so you'll never find out.
And then you have two children, Javid.
Good for you.
And Georgia.
Well done. Usually people, it's Javid or Havid. For those who don't know, because nobody would know, my kids are actually, I'm a big Detroit Lions fan.
Oh,
my
I'm
wife
from
will,
Michigan.
okay, my wife will disagree with absolutely everything I'm going to say here. But my son is Javid, which is named after the former Detroit running back Javid Best.
Okay.
And Matthew Stafford is a quarterback. He went to Georgia, and my daughter's name is Georgia. That's the story that I go with, and nobody else believes it, but that's one that I'm going to tell you.
And your wife does not tell that story at all.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so your parents think that they knew what you were going to do when you grew up, because you would walk around the house with a microphone and you'd act like you're interviewing people and stuff. But that wasn't, you didn't go from childhood walking around with a microphone to what you're doing now.
Well,
tell us the route.
Okay, so I went into it, and apparently I interviewed everybody, and my mom's like, this guy's going to be a radio guy.
Yeah.
And then my sister was diagnosed with an aneurysmic bone cyst when she was little. So she spent a lot of time in the hospital. And so I said, I want to be a nurse.
Yeah.
I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to do something.
Yeah.
And so I went into nursing and dropped out of nursing to go into radio. And then the day that I graduated and got a job, my mom's like, I knew you were going to do that. I'm like, then why didn't you tell me from the beginning?
Exactly, yeah. Well, but you're still, in a sense, you're helping people.
Oh, I believe that my purpose, like God has given me a purpose to be myself and have others see the potential in themselves. Yeah. So if anything that I do, whether it's most requested or I'm on the radio, if there's one person who can say, you know what, hey, listen, I saw this through you, or you had said something that encouraged me, that to me is such a blessing, because a lot of times in media you don't know how you've affected somebody positively.
Totally.
So at least when nursing, if somebody's sick in the hospital and they leave the hospital, you did your job. Yeah. Radio and television is something completely different.
Yeah, yeah. And so where does your passion for music come from?
I was always a music kid. Like, I can't sing a lick. I always said that God blessed me with the gift of gab, not with the gift of song. So I loved music growing up and listening to music, so that was kind of just something that I did. Yeah. And then from that point on, it kind of just rolled into radio.
Yeah. And how do you, when you're interviewing people on your show, how do you draw people out?
I don't know. Do I not have an infectious personality? I would like to say
well, that's
that
the
I do.
Answer. No, but it's a skill, obviously.
Well, this is different though, because usually I'm the interviewer. It's weird being the interviewee, because I want to ask you questions, right? But I just think that I think just being who you are really will just draw people out.
Yeah.
So if I'm, if you interview somebody and you're like, hey, you're Eeyore, people are just, that's how they're gonna, so if you just come into it at a positive attitude, people are just gonna love you.
Yeah, yeah. And what are your future plans for how you're trying to take the shows that you do in your radio program? Are there anything new coming down the pipeline?
I always say, God gave us His best when we were at our worst. So I always constantly try to give my best, whether it's through radio or through TV or whatever else we're doing. So whatever doors are open, whatever path is open for me, I'm willing to take it at 110% if that's possible. And if not, I'll just give you it at 100.
Yeah. Well, and as you look at your kids, like your parents looked at you, what if you had to project what they're going to do? Because maybe they'll watch this when they're older and they'll be like, Dad was right.
Well, okay, so I've asked my children. My son wants to be a scientist or on the radio. Yeah. So I've tried to spin him to go to be a scientist.
Why?
And for my daughter, you know what? She's very much like me. Yeah. My son is like my wife. My daughter's very much me. She has the character. She has the everything about her. So I think she'll do something entertaining. She'll go into dance or she'll go into theater or something. Yeah. That's what I see for now. She's 4. Yeah. So, ask me in 20 years and this will be a completely different answer.
And what is your wife and your son? What's their personality? You said your son's like the way.
They're very emotional. They wear their heart on their sleeves. Yeah. They encourage people. They want the best up for everybody. Yeah. And my daughter and I, so like if they're sad, we're trying to entertain them and make them happy.
Yeah.
but it's very different, so we have two different types of
Approaches,
personalities.
yeah.
Exactly.
And what can people expect tonight on the American Idol show?
It is going to be amazing. I mean, the fact that we have Danny Goki hanging out is already, I mean, we've been counting down, and I just want to say for the record that I said Clark was going to be #1. He was going to be the winner from day one, and so the fact that he's in the final 2, I feel good about that.
I know it. You know music, you know radio, you know TV. This is great.
Awesome.
Well, we are so excited about tonight's program, and we thank you for coming so we could get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, no, it's good.
All right.
A little different, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully I made you comfortable.
No, you're good.
Okay.